Hi guys, just a quick video here showing you a little trick that can be done with the steps property in CSS keyframe animations. I thought it warranted its own video because it's the kind of thing you might not need often but can be really useful in specific situations. What we're doing here is using CSS keyframe animations to animate a sprite sheet. Essentially, we can take an image like this and animate it using each section as a keyframe like this. This can be useful when you want to do a relatively high fidelity animation on a page without needing to embed a whole video. To be honest, it's not that difficult, and once you make note of your dimensions while drawing, you're going to be fine. Alright, first off, we're going to make a div called Sprite. Let's take a look at the image here. So there's 8 frames in this image, and they're all 260 pixels wide. So altogether, the image is 2080 pixels wide and 360 pixels tall. So now in our CSS, we get Sprite and make it 260 wide by 360 tall. Give it a margin top of 50 just to pull it down a little bit. Position of absolute and a background image. I'm going to link up the sprite sheet. We're going to take a look at that. And as we can see, we just have a static image. Now to create the image itself, we just want to move the background so it clips in blocks like this across it. And do that. Let's make a new animation using @keyframes. And let's just call it Sprite Right. Instead of using percentages, we're just going to use from and to, because it's only going to be one state it's only going to be switching from one state to another. We go background position 0 pixels, background position minus 2080 pixels. So that's the width of the image. Now we're going to add that animation to this div animation. Sprite right. So let's do it over 2 seconds and loop it. Let's see what that does. See, that's no good for it to us at all. But it's getting there, it's on the way. You see, this is where the steps property comes in. Steps property allows you to decide how many frames an animation is going to have. So let's say if we have 8 images on this sprite sheet, we would need 8 steps in our animation. Since all these things are blocked out evenly, it's going to go in 8 equal steps across the entire width of the animation. And what it should do on refresh is a totally normal walk cycle. Might look a bit slow at 2 seconds. Let's bring it to 0.8, just see if it looks a bit more natural. And there we go, it's plodding along. But yeah, there's more stuff we can do with this. The video examples so far haven't been very involved. They've just been meant to show you the code and its results. So here, you should be getting comfortable with transitions and stuff like that. So we're going to mess around a little bit and see what else we can add to the animation. The initial example I showed you had a solid color background and sky, which can be achieved pretty easily. So let's just do that really quickly and then move on. Right, we wrap that in the div sky. I'm just doing a one called ground. We'll make sky 410 pixels tall. Background color, padding bottom. No, because we're doing background. Make ground 100% wide. Oop, Same as sky. Height 600, why not? Background color C27030. Then we gotta give the body an overflow hidden just for the moment. If we take a look at that, nothing much to it. He's just walking in front of two colors, so it looks a little bit like a representation of sky and ground. Just going to get rid of that white margin around everything there. Now, what if instead of a solid color sky, we have a seamless image here? So where's sky? So instead of a background color, we'll go for a background image. Right, let's give that a look. Okay, now let's make it move. So what's handy here is the sky image is the exact same width as the sprite sheet. This animation here, sprite right, goes from 0 to 2080. So will we be able to reuse that on the sky? I think so. See here, there's no steps, so it's going to be a lot smoother and it's a lot longer. That's the handy thing about being able to reuse these animations, is that's doing the same thing for a totally different amount of time and at a completely different frame rate. And there we go, works absolutely fine. See, it kind of lulls a little bit there. That's because I have a feeling it's set to ease by default. So if we just put that linear, there we go, that'll just go on forever. Now it's kind of annoying how he's floating that little bit above the ground, so let's just change this up by 5 pixels. Maybe another 5. There we go, that's a bit nicer. It just looks like he's actually sitting there on the ground. Then if we get a seamless ground texture, we can set that as a background image for the ground. If we have a look at that, it should look kind of rubbish. Yeah, and then what we're going to have to do is we're going to make everything positioned absolute. Because of that, we're going to have to take the sprite out of the sky. Position absolute and position absolute. If you take a look at that again, everything should be gone kind of crazy. Not too bad, but we're going to do the style here now. Give the ground a bottom of minus 50 pixels. Okay, maybe bring that to 80. Now we're going to use Z-index, and Z-index kind of splits everything up into layers, and the higher the number, the further up the layer it is. So if we say Z-index 1 for the sky, Z-index 2 for the ground, and Z-index 3 for the sprite, it should be the sky in the background, then the ground, and then the sprite. There we go. And then we just have to animate the ground. And again, we can just reuse sprite right again because it's just anything that's moving to the right. And make this go. So we make this sky go for 8, and then make this go for 5 linear. Let's check that out. So, like I said, there's a lot you can do with the likes of CSS transforms, transitions, Z-index, and that's before we're even going into the likes of 3D transforms and stuff. But I think for now, again, that'll do it for this video, and in the next video we're going to move into the basics of SVG. So like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.